I have found the ice cream machine I have been dreaming of. This appliance is really a game changer. It allows you to make ice cream and sorbet very easily, quickly, and the results are truly stunning. I'm not sponsored by the brand, I just find this appliance amazing and wanted to share it with you. The principle is very simple. You prepare an ice cream or sorbet mix, pour it into one of the pints, and then freeze it for at least 24 hours. Afterwards, all you have to do is to lock the pint in the machine, start the program, and in 3 minutes you get a delicious and healthy ice cream. Let's start with the Melon Sorbet, a recipe by Alain Ducasse. I prepare a syrup with a little of sugar and water, bring it gently to a boil. I cut the melon and extract the fibrous flesh and the seeds that we normally throw away. But here, on the contrary, we will use them and they will add a lot of extra flavor to the sorbet. When the syrup comes to a boil, I pour in the melon seeds and filaments and I let the whole thing confide for about 10 minutes. While the syrup is gently boiling, I cut the melon and weigh out 450 grams. On the video I used 500 grams of melon, but it was a bit too much. 450 grams is enough to fill one container. I can tell you that there are delicious smells in the kitchen. Of course, the quality of the sorbet depends completely on the quality of the fruit. It's important to choose a good melon, ripe and full of flavor, such as the one we can find in Cavaillon, a small city in South France, famous for its melons. Here is the syrup infused with melon seeds. This little extra step is making all the difference in the recipe. I will extract the maximum of the syrup. It's a concentrate of flavors. I don't want to waste a drop of it. Then I will simply blend the mixture and pour it into the container of the Ninja CREAMI. I make sure to not go over the maximum capacity line. And then I cover with the lid and freeze for at least 24 hours so that it's perfectly frozen. The next day, I take the container out of the freezer and lock it into the unit. I turn it on and select the sorbet button. The appliance begins the process, and this pretty noisy step takes about 2 to 3 minutes. I unlock the device and I'm going to check what texture I'm getting. It doesn't quite have the texture I want yet, so I'm going to blend it again using another program called Respin, which takes 1 to 2 minutes maximum. We don't always need to use this Respin program. It depends on the preparation and the temperature of your freezer. Here is the result I got now. I really have a good sorbet, very smooth, and above all with an extraordinary melon aroma. The second sorbet I am making is a mango sorbet with the option to add fresh basil. I will use the same method than before. I prepare a syrup with some water and sugar. You will find all the recipes below the video. While the syrup is cooking, I cut the mangoes. You can really make this sorbet without adding sugar. It's really one of the great benefits of this ice cream machine. We have a lot of freedom in terms of recipes. I let the syrup simmer for 2 minutes, then remove it from the heat. I also add the juice of half lime to the syrup. This will give more depth to the sorbet. I pour the syrup over the fruit and mix everything together. I get a very creamy texture, but I would like to point out that this really depends on the variety of mangoes you will use. You might need to pass the mango coulis through a fine strainer. I fill the container up to the line and freeze it for 24 hours. The next day, I lock the container in the appliance and start the sorbet program. The sorbet has a very smooth texture. I don't need to blend it again. It's ready. I will take advantage of this recipe to show you how to add ingredients to an ice cream or a sorbet. Here I will add fresh basil, which will bring a lot of freshness to our mango sorbet. I chop a few basil leaves and add them to the sorbet. Then I press the program Mix In. The mix-in function allows you to distribute additional ingredients into the ice cream or sorbet, such as nuts, chocolate, cookies, herbs, etc. In another video, I will show you my method to add your favorite chocolate in the ice cream. For the third and last recipe today, I choose to show you how to make sorbet with canned fruits. You can absolutely use canned fruits with their syrup. Here I choose to use guava, a very fragrant exotic fruit. I simply pour the fruit into the jar, cover with syrup up to the line. We don't even need to blend the fruit. I freeze the jar, and the next day I will get a very creamy sorbet. In my opinion, I only find interesting to use canned fruits for exotic fruits that are difficult to find fresh. Depending on where you live, it can be difficult to find fruits such as guavas, lychees, mangoes, but you absolutely can use any canned fruit, pineapple, peach, apricots. It's a very easy solution. This time I had to put the sorbet in the freezer for an hour before I could form scoops. It was really too soft. The taste of the sorbet is delicious, very fragrant, but a little too sweet for my taste. I will correct this by replacing part of the syrup with coconut milk. I could also very well use water instead of coconut milk. I am also going to blend it before freezing it, which will allow me to correct the slightly grainy texture that is particular to guava. The sorbet is smooth and delicious. I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration on the Ninja Creamy ice cream machine. I am working on many other flavors that I will share with you very soon. See you soon!